Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. Let's just jump right in. Usually, we're tackling massive data sets, sprawling research papers, or complex historical timelines, right? But today we're doing something totally different, and honestly, kind of fascinating. We are going to perform a really deep analysis on an incredibly brief yet profoundly moving piece of source material. We're talking about a story contained within just 3 simple sentences. But as you're going to see, these 3 sentences hold a massive, heavy reality, painting this vast and devastating picture of agrarian life. It's an absolute masterclass in how much weight a few carefully chosen words can actually carry. So, let's start unpacking it.
I want to read this short narrative in full right at the top, just to set the somber mood before we completely deconstruct it. The original text goes like this. Gaume Ramu namka ek garib kisan rata tha. Uske pas keval ek chota sa khet tha. Wa din rat menet karta, lekin kabhi barish kam hoti, do kabhi fasal kharab ho jati. In English, that translates to, there lived a poor farmer named Ramu in a village. He had only a small field. He would work hard day and night, but sometimes there was less rain, and sometimes the crop would fail. And that's it. That is the entire text. Yet within those few words lies a whole ecosystem of struggle, economics, and humanity's fragile relationship with nature. Let's break down exactly how this text achieves so much with so little.
Section 1. Ramu's World, a foundation of scarcity.
You know, any good narrative has to ground us in a reality, and this one does it instantly by establishing our protagonist's fragile economic environment. We aren't getting flowery descriptions of the rolling landscape here. Instead, we are given a stark economic baseline. Notice the specific words used in this very first sentence. There lived a poor farmer named Ramu in a village. Before we even find out what Ramu does on a daily basis, we are handed his identity, and that identity is inextricably tied to poverty right from syllable 1. The author doesn't just call him a farmer. The adjective poor defines him completely.
And what's really interesting is that if we define a poor farmer based strictly on the constraints of this tiny text, it isn't just someone lacking currency. It defines a rural laborer bound by structural vulnerabilities. He's characterized by having limited land ownership and this extreme, almost fatalistic vulnerability to natural elements. So his poverty isn't just a low bank balance, it's the absolute lack of a safety net.
Section 2. Limit of resources, the physical constraint.
Building on that identity of scarcity, the story immediately shifts from who Ramu is to what Ramu has. Take a look at the second sentence. He had only a small field. The absolute crucial focus here is the word only. That one single word applies a massive constraint to his small field, highlighting a severe lack of resources. It tells us point blank that there are no hidden assets, there are no backup plots of land, no alternative businesses, no savings accounts mentioned at all. The entirety of his physical wealth and potential for income is geographically confined to this one highly restricted patch of dirt.
Think about what that physical boundary actually means. It means Ramu has absolutely zero margin for error in his life. A small field means a highly restricted yield capacity, so even in a perfect year, his maximum income has a hard, incredibly low ceiling. It means zero economic buffer for failure. One bad season can literally wipe him out because he can't just rely on crops from a different, unaffected field. Ultimately, it breeds an absolute, terrifying dependency on a single plot of earth just to survive.
Section 3. Relentless labor, the human effort.
Now, despite these immense constraints, we have to look at Ramu's active response to his situation. He doesn't just sit back and accept defeat. Let's look at the first half of the third sentence. He would work hard day and night. I really want you to feel the intensity and the sheer speed of his dedication here. He is pouring every single ounce of his energy into the soil. He's taking the literal only resource he actually has complete control over, his own physical labor, and he is maximizing it.
This brilliantly illustrates that his personal input is maxed out. I mean, you can't possibly work any harder than day and night, right? It's continuous 24/7 dedication. It's maximum physical input. The text makes it incredibly clear that if Ramu fails, it is absolutely 100% not due to a lack of human effort or willpower. He is holding up his end of the bargain with the earth to the absolute limit of human endurance.
Section 4. Nature's game, the uncontrollable antagonist.
But here's where the narrative takes a really dark turn. But sometimes there was less rain. We really need to slow down here for a second to reflect on this tragic shift. The word but acts like a hinge, swinging the door shut on all of Ramu's hard work. A lack of rain is introduced as this formidable, completely invisible antagonist. It's quiet, it's totally out of his control, and it's absolutely devastated.
This shows just how deeply vulnerable Ramu's field is to the unpredictable, unforgiving whims of the weather. Nature's caprices strikes in three distinct ways here. Unpredictable rainfall, a direct negative impact on the crops, and honestly, most heartbreakingly, the total erasure of human effort. Nature's lack of cooperation effectively invalidates Ramu working day and night.
Section 5. Effort and Outcome. The Final Tragedy.
Let's bring this all together to examine the ultimate disconnect between what Ramu gives to the world and what the earth actually returns to him. Here's the final phrase of the text, and sometimes the crop would fail. This is the poignant, bitter conclusion of his entire cycle of labor. It's such a quiet sentence, but it implies total agricultural and personal devastation. All that day and night labor concentrated onto that one tiny field just amounts to nothing.
When we map it out and balance the scales of this story, the reality is just devastating. Ramu controls his day and night hard work, and he controls his unending dedication, but he literally cannot control the amount of rain or the ultimate health of the crop. The variables outside of his control completely and utterly overshadow his personal agency. It simply doesn't matter how much effort he inputs if nature just decides not to cooperate.
This harsh juxtaposition forces us to ask a really difficult question. Why is it that immense human effort, relentless day and night labor, is met with such devastatingly uncontrollable outputs? It completely shatters the myth that hard work always equals success. In Ramu's agrarian reality, maximum input can still result in absolute zero output, simply because the sky withheld its water.
And so I want to leave you with this final thought to reflect upon as we wrap up this explainer. When day and night hard work is ultimately defeated by nature, what is a person supposed to do? Where do we even find hope when maximum effort still falls victim to the sheer unpredictability of the world around us? It's a really heavy question drawn from just 3 simple sentences, but it defines the literal everyday reality for countless people all around the globe. Thank you so much for joining me to explore the depths of Ramu's story. Keep analyzing, keep questioning, and I'll catch you in the next one.